Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to Fantastic Stories. Today, I have a truly captivating story for you, one that is far from ordinary. This is a real-life tale from Egypt, full of secrets and wonders that defy logic and reason. The story revolves around a man named Abdulaziz, a young Egyptian whose life took a dramatic turn from tragedy to a miraculous healing journey, all intertwined with the supernatural. Abdulaziz was born into a humble family, with little access to formal education. However, his heart was full of hope and ambition. Little did he know that in 1967, his life would change forever when he joined the Egyptian army to fight against Israel. During one of the fierce battles, Abdulaziz sustained a serious injury to his spine, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. It was a devastating blow, not only to him but also to his parents, especially considering he was only 17 years old at the time. His family searched for a cure, visiting countless doctors, but nothing worked. It soon became clear that Abdulaziz would spend the rest of his life confined to a wheelchair. His days were filled with loneliness and pain. His nights were even worse, plagued by haunting memories of the war, the battles, and the images that would not leave his mind. He often found himself tossing and turning in bed, consumed by the bitterness of despair. One night, as he lay deep in thought, something extraordinary happened. The wall of his room suddenly cracked open, and a thick smoke began to pour out. The smoke took the shape of an elderly woman who approached him and spoke in a strange voice. "I can help you regain your health, but I have one condition." At first, Abdulaziz thought this was just a hallucination brought on by his despair. He didn't say a word, and the woman continued to stare at him before disappearing back into the smoke, which vanished into the wall. Abdulaziz spent the night in confusion, wondering whether what he had seen was real or just a figment of his imagination. The next night, the same thing happened. The wall cracked open again, and the old woman appeared, repeating her offer. "I can heal you, but you must accept my condition." Fear gripped Abdulaziz, yet he couldn't bring himself to speak. The woman disappeared again, leaving him in a state of bewilderment. But the following night, Abdulaziz decided he would gather his courage and speak to this mysterious woman if she appeared once more. When she reappeared for the third time, she repeated her offer. "I will restore your health, but you must accept my condition." This time, Abdulaziz found his voice. He asked her, "What is your condition?" The woman replied, "My condition is that you marry my daughter." Abdulaziz was stunned by this strange request. He asked her for some time to think about it. She agreed and said, "I will return in a few days." Abdulaziz spent the following days contemplating the offer. He wondered, was it worth tying his life to a jinni? But he realized that life without the ability to walk felt like death. On the promised night, the old woman returned and asked him, "What have you decided?" Abdulaziz replied hesitantly, "I agree to your condition. I've grown weary of this wheelchair, and I long to walk again." The woman smiled and said, "Your decision is wise. You will heal by God's will, and tomorrow I will bring my daughter to you." She added reassuringly, "Do not fear. We are Muslims, and no harm will come to you from us by God's will." The following night, the old jinni appeared again, accompanied by her daughter, and they approached Abdulaziz, who had become more accustomed to these recurring visits. Her daughter possessed a strange beauty and a unique charm, which made Abdulaziz feel at ease, despite the oddness of the situation. Abdulaziz spent the next nights talking with the jinni and her daughter. until he began to feel that this mysterious world had become a part of his life. One of those nights, he told the old jinni of his desire to marry her daughter. Happiness appeared on her face, and she said to him, "Then get ready. Tomorrow will be the wedding." The next day, Abdulaziz woke up full of excitement. He prepared himself as if he were a groom in a traditional celebration, and he appeared joyful, as if life had returned to him anew. As the sun set, he closed the door to his room and sat waiting. A few minutes passed, and the old jinni and her daughter appeared, accompanied by a group of their family members. They all appeared as ordinary humans, but their features seemed mysterious and majestic. That night felt different. Abdulaziz felt a strange energy flowing through his body, as if it were giving him new life. For the first time in years, Abdulaziz began to move his feet slowly, then stood unsteadily on them. It felt like a true miracle. The next morning, Abdulaziz walked out of his room on his own 2 feet, leaving his wheelchair behind forever. His family was in a state of shock, and everyone wondered about the secret behind this sudden transformation, but he simply remained silent and smiled. Despite regaining the ability to walk, Abdulaziz spent most of his time in his room, where he spent his nights with his wife, the jinni. Occasionally, his family would hear strange sounds coming from his room, as if he were talking to someone, but they never dared to ask him about it. After 2 years of this, the old jinni appeared again and said to him, "I have decided to help humans cure their diseases, and I want you to be the intermediary between our world and yours. But you must leave this house and rent another one where you can open your clinic." Abdulaziz welcomed the idea, especially since he had been thinking for some time about moving out to live independently with his wife. Within a few days, he moved to a small town and rented a modest house. There, Abdulaziz began treating patients, never charging them anything in return. And soon, his reputation spread throughout the city, and everyone came to him for treatment. Abdulaziz did not need to examine the patients. He could diagnose their illnesses just by looking at them. Abdulaziz treated numerous diseases that medicine had been unable to solve, such as infertility, paralysis, chest ailments, and liver diseases. He personally provided medicine to the poor, which made people believe that he possessed a special blessing. As the years passed, Abdulaziz's fame grew until it reached the authorities, who decided to immediately open an investigation into him for practicing medicine without a license. In April of 1980, he was arrested and brought in for questioning by the public prosecutor, who asked him about the charges against him. With complete confidence, Abdulaziz admitted that he had been treating patients, even performing surgeries when necessary. He clarified that he had not done this on his own initiative, but had acted upon the orders of Al-Hajjah, his mother-in-law from the world of Jinn. The prosecutor did not believe him and asked for the address of Al-Hajjah so that she could be arrested. Abdulaziz calmly replied, "You cannot arrest her. She is not human. She is from the world of Jinn." The prosecutor dismissed his words as mere evasion and ordered him to be sent to trial. In front of the judge, Abdulaziz was asked, "Are you a sorcerer, magician, or charlatan?" Abdulaziz responded, "I am neither of those. Everything I did was to help the poor and the sick, following the orders of Al-Hajjah. I did not take money from anyone, nor did I harm any patient. You may call any patient I treated, and you will hear testimony that will clear me." The judge was amazed by Abdulaziz's courage and confidence and decided to test him in front of everyone. He said to him, If you are truthful, reveal the ailments of the 6 lawyers present here and tell us how to treat them." Without hesitation, Abdulaziz began examining the lawyers one by one, diagnosing their ailments with astonishing accuracy, as if he were reading their minds, then prescribing the most suitable treatments. The results were astounding. His diagnoses were completely accurate, and everyone was left in awe. He then turned to the judge himself, who was now in a state of confusion, and began diagnosing his ailment, explaining how he could recover. He didn't stop there, but went on to diagnose the people in the courtroom, leaving everyone in a state of shock. Silence prevailed after Abdulaziz told one of the attendees that he had a simple stomach issue and recommended a simple treatment. At that moment, the judge ordered the case to be postponed and decided to send Abdulaziz to a psychiatric hospital to examine his condition, after growing concerned about his strange abilities. Meanwhile, as everyone discussed Abdulaziz in the newspapers, he was described as the sorcerer and charlatan, which only complicated matters around him. He became the talk of the town, and everyone wondered how a single person could achieve all of this. A few days later, the hospital issued a report stating that Abdulaziz was suffering from psychological disorders. However, the strange part was that they couldn't explain how he was able to successfully treat patients and perform complex surgeries without making any mistakes. This report raised many questions about the nature of what was happening. During the second session of the trial, a large number of patients who had been treated by Abdulaziz attended to testify before the judge about his excellence and dedication to their treatment. All of them confirmed that Abdulaziz was more than just a doctor, and that he had helped them in ways no one could understand. In light of these strong testimonies, the judge had no choice but to issue a verdict of Abdulaziz's innocence, believing that the matter might be bigger than just medical knowledge. While Abdulaziz was leaving the courtroom, he found himself surrounded by journalists who asked him about the source of his abilities. Abdulaziz calmly replied, "I am guided by hidden forces. If I refuse to follow their commands, I might be harmed." When one of the journalists asked him about the entity, he answered with a mysterious smile, "I can't speak about it in detail. All I can say is that it is from the Muslim Jinn." These statements spread widely, which greatly increased Abdulaziz's fame like never before. Everyone began searching for a way to receive his treatment, and his name became the talk of the town everywhere. However, the greatest surprise came when he completely disappeared one day, leaving no trace behind. There were no more news about him, and he vanished as if he had never existed. Many rumors circulated about his disappearance. Some people claimed he went to live with the Jinn, while others believed he had received orders to stay away from people and hide in an unknown place. Abdulaziz's disappearance remains a great mystery that has not been solved to this day. If you liked the story, don't forget to press the like button to support us, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all the new updates. Share your thoughts and comments with us. Stay well. Peace be upon you, and Allah's mercy and blessings.